AK Messages. I'm Austin Chambers. And so I just did I asked people on Facebook what subject they would like me to touch on in another vlog. And I appreciate all the responses in the comments and messages sent to me. So I'm going to try to do as many of the subjects that were brought up as possible. Today I will broach the subject of raising kids that aren't yours by blood. And I'm not going to say kids that aren't yours, because they are. If you are raising any kids, they're your kids, okay? They're not step kids. They're not adopted kids. They are your kids. I have experience from both sides of that. I was raised by a man who wasn't my blood, but he was my dad. And I am raising 3 kids that weren't born to me. They're my kids. They are my kids. The youngest, who will not watch this video yet, doesn't know that she's not my blood. As far as she's concerned, I'm daddy. You know, and someday I'll sit her down and I'll explain everything. But right now she doesn't need to know that. I am daddy. That's it. Plain and simple. So, talk about the man who raised me. I've never respected a man more than I respected Farron. He came into my mom and my sister's lives, and it couldn't have been easy because my sister was older. You know, she was just about to turn into a teenager. She was rebellious. And I wasn't a typical kid. Like, I liked sports and I was athletic, but I would have rather read a book. I'd rather just sit inside. That's how I was. I was a sensitive kid. I was kind of nerdy. And he was, a former bull rider, a former bronc rider, athletic. He played college sports. He loved watching sports. I didn't really care about watching sports. So it was difficult for him, How do you raise a kid you don't know, you don't understand? But he found a way, And everything I know about being a man came from him. He taught me how to hunt. He taught me how to fish. Taught me how to work on cars. Taught me about sports. He's the reason I eventually fell in love with sports. He was such an intelligent man, and he was a really deep thinker, but he didn't let on about it a lot, I don't know. He was a good man. He was a good man. His death devastated me. He died when I was 14. It threw me for a loop. It broke me for a while. But you can't break a heart that hasn't been loved. The fact that I felt that pain means that I had intense love from this man and for this man. And I lucked out. A lot of people don't get to say goodbye. A lot of people don't get that final talk. And I did. He died of cancer. The last day he was alive, he was slipping in and out of a coma. And I had been sitting in his room for a while, and I decided to get up and leave and go do something. And he woke up for a second, and he said my name, and I turned around. He told me he loved me, and I said I love you too. And that was the last conversation I had with him. He died that night. And, I guess I'm blessed that I got to have that last talk. That last, say I love you. A lot of people don't get that. But in my eyes, that man was my dad. A lot of times when I talk about him, I say stepdad. Because me and my biological father, we do have a relationship, and I do love him. But the man who raised me, my dad, was fair and skeleton, and he was a good man. Now, he had a biological daughter. But she didn't live with us, and we never saw her because he wasn't given the option to be in her life anymore. So, we're going to fast forward to now. I am raising 3 kids. They weren't born to me, but I look at them as my children. I have 2 biological children. Similar to my dad, I don't really have the option to be in their lives. Luckily, my oldest, Gage, recently contacted me, and we have been talking, building some kind of relationship. He's older, and he's a man. He's grown, and I'm blessed that happened, and I'm able to form some sort of relationship with him. But I unfortunately was never given the option to be there as he grew up. I tried, but it is what it is. My kids, and I never thought about it. I never thought, hey, should I be raising these kids, or should I, let them know not to call me dad? And at first I didn't want them calling me dad. When me and their mother first got together, especially the oldest, her dad is still in her life. So at first I wouldn't let her call me dad. But at this point, I am her dad. I'm there for every important moment of her life. She calls me dad. I tell people she's my daughter because she is. The 2 youngers they're my kids. My son and my other daughter. I don't know what I would do without them. They are a lot of times my saving grace. I think I've said this in other vlogs, and people that know me know this, that blood doesn't make you family. I live in a town that I have cousins and great aunts or whatever, uncles, everywhere. And I don't have any kind of relationship with them at all. I have a relationship with my mother, I have a relationship with my grandmother. And that's pretty much it in this town. Blood doesn't make you family. Actions and loyalty make you family. Love makes you family. And I have love for these 3 children. I would die for them. And Lord help anyone that ever hurt them. I think it's one of those situations where if you get involved with someone, man or woman, that has children, you need to decide if you're willing not to be a step parent, because that's not what it is. If you're willing to be a parent, if you're willing to make that transition into what that child needs. They don't need someone that's going to show up in their lives and then leave, because single mothers and single fathers get that all the time. It is work. It is work to date someone that has children. It is. But it's worth it. They don't have to be your kids to begin with, but it happens. You need to make sure there's enough love in your heart for not just the person you're dating, but the children. Because it's a fact. You're not just dating that person, you're dating the kids. It's a package deal. You can't pick and choose. You can't, I don't want to date anyone without kids because, that's not the way life works sometimes. So, I guess bottom line it is that as much of a challenge and as much work as it is, it's no more work than, you know, being a child's biological parent and sticking around. It is. And sometimes it's tougher, honestly. Especially if you come into a child's life when they're a little bit older. You know? My oldest here, she's about 10. When I came into her life, 10, 11, and she wasn't willing to accept me. She thought I would just disappear. Other guys that her mother had dated, and that, you know, and I didn't. And I finally proved to her that I wasn't going anywhere. I'm here for the long haul, and I've told her that. You know? And these kids are so amazing. They amaze me every day. Not just with their personalities or their intelligence or just how polite they are. They're just amazing kids. So, this is Austin Chambers. Like I always say, this world is so close to being a beautiful, amazing place. Don't be afraid to love someone else's kids. Don't be afraid to love each other. Don't be afraid to be you. Don't be afraid to show love and show you to other people. Because fear will get you nowhere. Love will make this world what we want it to be. Ha 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 ha!